Hiya! I am back again. It's been a while, but I'm in the right place now, I think, to get back to creating videos, and I'm really excited about some things that I have to share. So, let's see how this goes. So, what I've got for you today is a look at my TBRs for the year. And this is a video that I have seen McKay, do. So I will pop a link to that in the description box. But rather than just saying, hey, this is what my TBR for this month is, I'm going to look back at what I have set for the first half of the year each month, and did I actually read them? So first, to give you a little bit of context about how TBRs work for me. So I'm very much someone who wants to be in the right mood for a book. I don't really want to have to force myself to read a book. That's just, it's never going to be as good that way. I do give myself quite a big rough TBR for the month. So I'll write down based on a few categories. So I'll write down a couple of just like next book in series, because I'm reading quite a lot of long series. So the series that I want to focus on, what's the next book for those? I always make sure that my TBR has got at least one Sapphic FF book on it, because that's the kind of representation that I like to make sure I've got a focus on. I'll include any kind of new releases that I've got pre-ordered for the month, and usually a couple of books that have been sat on my shelves for a while as well. So that gives me like quite a long list, and I usually have around 12 books on that list. Now that is about what I read every month. So it isn't going to happen. That's fine. What I then do from there is I pick 6 books that I'm going to make my actual TBR, and I write those in my journal. And then I track whether I read those. So that's what I'm going to go through now. I'm not going to go through those big brain dumps of every possible book that sounds interesting for the month. I'm going to go through the 6 that I wrote down, and we'll see how I did. Some months not so great. So heading all the way back to January, and this is quite a cool blast from the past actually, looking back. So okay, my 6 books that I had. First one was Archangel's Viper by Nalini Singh. So that was at the point my next book in the Guild Hunter series. Steal the Sun by Lexi Blake, which was at the point my next book in the Thieves series, and one that I had been stalling on for a little while at that point. Adored by Lexi Blake, which was the next one in the Masters and Mercenaries series for me at that point. Magic Tides by Alona Andrews, which is a book that was released in January, so that was something that I was really looking forward to. And then I had 2 books for authors that I wanted to try before I went to Rare, which was in July. So I had Broken Mate by Jen L. Gray and A Hint of Delirium by Karina Espinosa. And out of those, I read 5. So I'm pretty happy with that. I really loved Archangel's Viper, Adored, and Magic Tides. They were all fantastic. The other 2 weren't as much my thing, but they were fine. And for the record, I have since read Steal the Sun, and it was absolutely amazing, and I half kicked myself for not reading it sooner, but also I'm really glad that I was in a place to enjoy it when I did read it. So then February. On my TBR for February, I had Archangel's Prophecy by Nalini Singh, again the next Guild Hunter book. Just One Taste by Lexi Blake, there's a theme here. Radiant Sin by Katie Roberts, so that was a release in February that I had pre-ordered. McReeve by Kersley Cole, which was my next Immortals After Dark book at that point. Devon and Chris Plan a Wedding by Chensia C. Higgins, which was my Sapphic pick for the month. And The Rogue King by Abigail Owen, which was one that had been on my TBR for a while, but also was an author who was going to Rare that I wanted to read before that. And again, I managed to read 5 out of 6. So I had really good luck with these. Honestly, they were amazing. This TBR for this month, so solid. So because the only one that I didn't read of this in February was The Rogue King, and I have since read it, absolutely loved it, can't wait to go into the rest of the series. Dragon Paranormal Romance is just so good. But every other one on here I really loved. I'm pretty sure they're all like 4.5 or 5-star reads, so yeah, go me. I picked a great TBR that month. Okay, the books that I had for March were Seducing the Sheriff of Nottingham by Cassandra Gannon. So this released in March in the kind of fairy tale series, which is just one of my favourite series. Breath of Fire by Amanda Boucher, which I had read the first book in that trilogy last year and not continued, even though I loved it. From Bad to Cursed by Lana Harper. Again, a series that I had started last year and just not got past the first book. A Lot Like Adios by Alexis Daria. This one's been on my TBR for a while and has been sat on my Kindle for quite some time. Secret Recipes of Topped by Lexi Blake. Again, next Masters and Mercenaries book. And This Side of the Grave by Janine Frost, which was my next Night Huntress book to read. And I didn't get 5 in March. I actually read 4 of these. So I really enjoyed Breath of Fire. Hopefully I don't leave it another year before I read the 3rd book, but who knows with me. Really enjoyed From Bad to Cursed. And yeah, really enjoyed the other 2 that I read as well. Seducing the Sheriff of Nottingham, the reason I didn't read it in March was because I didn't actually get it until April. I decided to go straight for getting the paperback because I knew I'd want it anyway. By the time I got that, it drifted into April. But I was obsessed when I did read it. And Walk of Shame time, I still haven't read A Lot Like Adios. It's been on my Kindle for so long. There are so many things about it that I really want to read it. I really enjoyed the first one. The second one sounds fantastic. Me and contemporary romance, it's just such a lottery of when I actually get around to picking them up. Okay then. April. Oh dear, this is going to be fun. Right, so my 6 books were The Fiancé Fast by Alexandria Bellafleur. That's one that released in April and I had pre-ordered. Sweet Ruin by Kersley Cole, which was my next Immortals After Dark book. Archangel's War by Nalini Singh, my next Guild Hunter book. For His Eyes Only by Lexi Blake, which was my next Masters and Mercenaries. If Only You by Chloe Lisa, which released in April. And That Time I Got Drunk and Saved a Human by Kimberly Liming, which also released in April in the UK. I read 2 of the 6 books. So partly I did have Seducing the Sheriff of Nottingham, which I carried over from the month before. I don't really know. I did quite a bit of Kindle reading, had some random reads, but I had a good month. It just wasn't the month that I picked. I did really enjoy, so the 2 that I did read during the month, really enjoyed. They were great. So for His Eyes Only in particular, I was worried I wasn't going to like as much, but it was fantastic. And Kimberly Liming's books, if you haven't picked them up, the fantasy romance series, absolutely hilarious. Just go do that. Of the other 4 though, So Sweet Ruin and Archangel's War I have read since. I really enjoyed Sweet Ruin, it's fantastic. Archangel's War was good. It wasn't like one of the best ones in the series for me, but at the end of the day, Nalini Singh's an amazing author, so they're all still like really good books. But again, with the contemporary romance, and this is absolutely shocking, I have not read either of The Fiancé Farce or If Only You, which is pretty disgusting because Chloe Lee's books, the Bergman brothers, I was reading them like the day they released. That was where that was going, and I was looking forward to The Fiancé Farce for ages. I had it pre-ordered as soon as I could. It sounds great. It has all the things that I should like. I've just not picked it up. So someone please make me do that at some point because it's getting ridiculous at this point. Okay, and then on to May. So my 6 books were Grim and Bear It by Juliet Cross, the last book in the Stay a Spell series, which released in May on my birthday. Nice present, that one. Once Burned by Janine Frost, which was my next book in the Night Huntress world. Love Another Day by Lexi Blake, my next Masters and Mercenaries book. Sweet Ruin by Cresley Cole. That's a rare one. I don't often have books that I write on the next month, but that one I obviously did. Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldry, which was a buddy read that I was doing with my husband. And Girlfriend Material by Katia Rose, which was one of the Sapphic books that I was aiming for the month, and one of my Bookstagram friends, Star, had kindly gifted that to me, so I was really excited to get to it. And I read all 6. I have no idea how, but I did. So obviously I managed to pick the right selection for my mood, and we got there, and do you know what, they were all great, like so good. Grim and Bear It wasn't my favourite in the series, because Livy and Gareth would take a lot of beating, and Violet and Nico, to be fair. Those are my 2 favourite couples in the series. But it was really, really lovely, and it was a great series end. Once Burned, moving on to a new main character, fantastic. Again, Love Another Day, just was really, really surprised like how much that one drew me in. It was so good. Legends and Lattes I'm glad I finally read, because obviously there was a lot of hype. And yeah, Girlfriend Material I was obsessed with as well, and obviously Sweet Ruin I've kind of already mentioned. So yeah, it was a fantastic month, all really, really highly rated books, and I read them all. And then finally for this video we have June. So my 6 books for this were Magic Claims by Alona Andrews, which was released in that month. At Your Service by Lexi Blake, yeah, my next Masters and Mercenaries book. Glitch by Brianna Michaels. So this was an author that I wanted to try for rare, and I had won a free copy of the ebook. The Rogue King by Abigail Owen made another appearance. Again, preparation for rare. Continuing the prep theme, we had Slouch Witch by Helen Harper, and then again continuing the theme, we had To Seduce a Witch's Heart by Nadine Matas. So I read 4 of these, which I'm pretty happy with, really. I actually didn't read Magic Claims, and that was again just because of when in the month I finally got it. I don't even remember if I got it at the end of June or if it kind of slipped in to July, but yeah, I obviously have read that one since. It was amazing. Really, really enjoyed Lexi Blake book, obviously. I've already mentioned The Rogue King. Glitch by Brianna Michaels is yeah, it's like so good. It's completely different sort of good to all the other ones. It is hot as hell. It is great escapism. And then yeah, To Seduce a Witch's Heart became one of my new favourites. So I'm really excited to continue that series. So the only one I haven't read yet is Sledge Witch by Helen Harper. It just wasn't one that I got to so far. It's only been a couple of months since then, so there's still more time. But I'm definitely still planning to read that one. It sounds so good, because making laziness your personality, I mean, sounds great. So yeah, that's what I had on my TBRs for the first half of the year. I think overall I did pretty well. Obviously there's a couple of months didn't read so many, and then 1 month somehow I read all of them. I do still do this every month. I write down my 6, so we'll probably check back in near the end of the year to see how that got on. And now that I am back to filming, I've got my next couple of videos planned. I will see you next week for some recommendations. Bye!